G'day guys, your old mate Big J here and welcome to another edition of Aussie Boxing Talk, the show that literally hits you right between the fucking eyes. And again today we're talking about old mate, which I thought that we'd not talk about anymore, because in the last 24 hours I've heard, and to start off with, I'm calling bullshit in the first instance, because I don't think there's any way in hell that this fight happens, but you know, stranger things have happened. But I've heard in the last 24 hours, and whether this is pure just exaggerated bullshit or there might be a slither of truth to it, apparently it has been put out there that Zerafa is in talks, or there might be a potential fight between Zerafa and Chris Eubank Jr. Right? That's all I know. Apparently the guy that broke out the story said there's been text messages. It was between the guy who broke the story and Zerafa himself, saying that, Chris Eubank or Zerafa's allegedly turned up on a list of potential fights for Chris Eubank Jr. And, I don't know how this fight works. And there's so many variables by this fight. I mean, on paper, it's actually not a bad fight, because Chris Eubank Jr., obviously, he's past his best. And to be honest, has Chris Eubank Jr. really achieved anything in his career? Not really. I mean, he's a two-time IBO super middleweight title holder, and the IBO is nothing to jump up and down about. I think he did have the WBA middleweight title for like maybe 3 seconds. His most significant win was when he beat Reynold Quinlan for the belt, I think in 2017 it was. It was 2017. And as we know, Chris Eubank Jr., just like Tim Tszyu, Chris Eubank Jr. is pretty much the UK's version of Tim Tszyu, where he's just a nostalgia baby. The only reason he got where he is because of his last name, because of who his father was. So, just like Tim, just like Conor Ben, just like, and to a much lesser extent, Campbell Hatton, who's already retired. So out of those four, you'd have an argument who had the more successful career, Chris Eubank Jr. or Tim Tszyu. I'll leave that decision up to you guys. So, but the problem is that this is probably complete bullshit, and Zerafa won't fight Chris Eubank Jr. And furthermore, the problem is that there's been rumours floating around for about since the debacle of this fight, is that Zerafa could possibly align himself with Eddie Hearn, because he's pretty much the only promoter left that would go anywhere near Zerafa. Zerafa has not only just burnt his bridge with Australian boxing, but pretty much pissed on the ashes. So, I mean, after the debacle of the fight with Nikita, No Limit want nothing to do with him. Pretty much every other promoter in Australia wants nothing to do with him. Eddie Hearn has announced that he's coming to Australia and he's putting on shows. But is he really? Because his first show on April 29th is a Sam LeBruna card. And him and Zerafa and Sam LeBruna have a long, complicated history with lawsuits and all sorts of stuff left, right and centre. So there's no way in hell Zerafa is going to appear on a Sam LeBruna show anytime soon. I can assure you of that. He's not going to have anything to do with No Limit. No Limit would want nothing to do with him, bar the fact that they barred his brother for life for punching Tommy Brown's trainer. Zerafa, as I said, not only burnt the bridge with No Limit, but pissed on the ashes. So how's this fight going to get done? And furthermore, Chris Eubank Jr. is with Ben Shalom, I think his name is, at Boxer Promotions. They hate Eddie Hearn. Chris Eubank Jr. has called Eddie Hearn a scumbag more than once. So how's Chris Eubank Jr. and Eddie Hearn going to work together? And furthermore, how's this fight going to sell? Would it sell in Australia? Probably not, because the Australian public's completely fucking sick and tired of Zerafa, and no one gives a rat's ass who Chris Eubank Jr. is. I mean, bar the history of him beating Reynold Quinlan for that IBO belt back almost 10 years ago. No one really gives a shit. I mean, I don't think Chris Eubank Jr. is as well. It'd probably be more successful in England than what it would here. But English fans would be like, oh, that bloke that went 12 rounds with Kell Brook and got knocked out by old mate Lara in Vegas. Yeah, okay. I don't see how this fight's going to generate any publicity or any money for anyone, or even what's. I mean, on paper it's a good fight, but sales-wise, how's it actually going to work? I mean, it doesn't matter if it doesn't sell tickets. As Mick Zerafa said to me multiple times, if it makes dollars, it makes sense. If it doesn't make any dollars, it's not going to make any sense to do the fight. So, I mean, I think this is just a blatant attempt for Mick Zerafa to try and dig himself out of the hole that he's made due to the Nikita fight, and I don't think that's ever going to happen. I mean, even though boxing fans have extremely short memories, I don't think the Australian public is going to forget what Mick Zerafa's done anytime soon, and nor should they. I mean, what Mick Zerafa did at the Nikita fight was just woeful, and that's being nice about it. So, I mean, we don't want to keep going over the same things, but, you know, Mick Zerafa, Chris Eubank Jr., I mean, even there's no belt on the line. What would be the point? They can't even fight for the IBO super middleweight belt because there's some Cuban bloke that has it. I did look up his name before. I think his last name is Iglesias. Oles Iglesias, I believe his name is. He's a Cuban fighter. And he's had it for a while. I think he's had 3 fights under the IBO belt, so that belt's not going to be on the line. So I don't really see... The problem is that if it's in Australia, what promoter is going to put it on? Because it's not going to... If Eddie puts it on, which he won't, because Chris Eubank can't stand Eddie, who's going to be Australian promoter? I seriously doubt that Mick Francis and Tasman Fighters would want anything to do with Mick Zerafa. No Limit want nothing to do with him. Sam LeBruner's got a bad history with him. So that might only leave Tony Tolge and Dragonfire in WA, or possibly Wildfighter with, what's his name? Will Tomlinson, Geelong-based promoter, former IBO Super Featherweight champion himself. I've heard Wildfighter's getting some broadcast deal or something. So Wildfighter might be a possibility. I don't know if Will Tomlinson and Mick Zerafa have any history, whether it's good or not. So that could be a possibility. And furthermore, you're going to have to get the money to get Chris Eubank Jr. come out to Australia. You really think Chris Eubank Jr. is going to come all the way here to fight Mick Zerafa? I doubt it. It's going to have to be in England. And we all know what happens there. I mean, Mick Zerafa is like 0-5 overseas, so Chris Eubank Jr. will probably kick the shit out of him. So, I mean, boxing is a very strange sport. A lot of shit happens that shouldn't happen. A lot of stuff that should happen doesn't. And, you know, fact is stranger than fiction when it comes to the boxing world, I can assure you. But you never know. Should this happen? If it does, would I watch it? Yes, because I'd be interested to see how it goes. Should Mick Zerafa get another chance? Certainly not in Australia. I mean, he would have to beg for forgiveness from pretty much everyone, but then some things are just... You've struck out too many times. So, but anyway, just a short one, guys. So like, share, and subscribe. Tell me what you think. Would you actually have any interest at all in seeing Mick Zerafa fight Chris Eubank Jr.? It would have to be at super middleweight because Chris is not getting down to middleweight. Mick walks around at super middleweight, so it wouldn't be that too hard for him. But, you know, share your thoughts, like, share, subscribe. As always, guys, tackle the ball, wrestle, crock hard, yourselves the fuck up, and we'll see you again soon.